wonderful companion beast, the dog that I have. Okay. Like they said towards the end, they mentioned that the dogs are trained sort of based on that person's lifestyle. I want to tell you how detailed that is. When I told them that I wanted to receive another service dog, they sent someone out. First I had to fill out a questionnaire about my type of life. Am I sort of a sedentary job? Do I do stuff during the day? What kind of things like that? Who I live with? Are there other dogs at home? Then they came out and had someone literally shadow me the whole day. Just go around to do everything that I always do and just sort of be silent in the back just to see what I usually do. And then they went back with all those notes and created this little fella. And like they'll already have one sort of in training where you saw how it's at someone's home at the beginning. But then by the time they finished meeting me, they sort of, I told them they knew I was going to be around. I travel a lot because of the racing and running. So they had to be in all kinds of climates and be willing to get up and get on a plane every time you look up or do something like that. They also had to make sure it didn't mind children because I was also teaching. So I had blind kindergartners I was teaching. So that meant a dog had to not mind being pulled on and investigated manually, you know, with the ears and the tail, and so it just had to be calm. And so, and it had to have, I don't have young kids at home, and then so they just had all these facets of my day in my life so that the dog would meld into it very well. So it's really quite a bit goes into creating someone's guide dog. And so I say all that to say, so not a pet, and so not a quick decision, oh, let's just put a harness on him and send him out. There's a whole lot of time and effort and thought and training and education that goes into creating a service dog. So by the time the service dog walks into your doors, you've got a very well-melded team that is just out to experience the community such as everybody else. Okay? All right. Yeah.
May I?
Oh, sorry. Do you guys need me to give you a quick potty break? Okay, I'm going to let her go since no one else is mentioned. But we're going to go on, but we'll fill you in. We'll give you the information. Okay. Okay, so now let's talk about how we see. Because the reason why I want to go into this is because you might come across clients that do not have a service dog. And you need to be able to understand what's really going on and how they're interpreting this place so that you know how to help them the best you can. Okay? So let's talk about the typical image. This is your eye. This is the eye looking this way. Okay? And so you've got your lens over here, and you've got your, the pupil, the cornea, all that. And this back here is the retina. See this reddish colored line? Okay, so this is where all of the image hits the retina and is an electrical format. It's sort of, and then goes to the optic nerve, and the optic nerve takes it through to the back of the brain, and your occipital lobe explains it or understands it and tells you what you've seen. Okay? So, keeping that in mind, you've got the image, it goes in, goes through the lens, and goes through the aqueous fluid, because there's fluid in here that helps your eye stay the shape, and then hits the retina, and then certain areas of the retina are really good for detailed vision, which is this. And so then it goes back there and crosses in the back of, in the middle of the head, all the way to the back of the brain and goes there. So it's all kinds of exciting things that happen in order to see. Okay, I say that to explain the next couple slides, but any questions there? Okay. So let's talk about some eye conditions now. Here is the way a regular person would see. This is someone with 20/20 vision. Have you guys understood or heard of 20/20 vision when you go to the eye doctor? Okay. 20/20 vision means that if I am standing here, something at 20 feet away looks like it is 20 feet away. 20/20 vision. Sometimes you'll get people, as we get older, you might see that we get to, they say, 20/35. Anybody around the 20/35 range? Okay, well, 20/35 means that if I'm standing here at 20 feet away, it looks like it is, good, y'all are catching on, So a person who is legally blind, where is 2,200. Understand that? So by the time someone walks in here with a cane or a dog or whatever, they're generally legally blind. This is what they're seeing. They are standing 20 feet away from something, and it looks like it is 200 feet away. Okay? So now wrap your brain around that a minute and consider just a simple task of entering this place, finding the elevator, pushing the button, going downstairs and viewing the exhibits. And by the way, I love that thing you guys have where it's an audio reads all of the stuff on the exhibits. I was really happy that you guys did that. That was really, really good. But anyway, let's go back to this, okay? So this is a person with normal vision, and they look at this picture view, and this is what it looks like. Now this is cataract. How many people have heard of someone with a cataract? Okay. Cataracts are somewhat common, and the good thing is that they can be removed very easily in the office. You don't have to stay in the hospital, and it's really, that's pretty good. But see that lens thing I was talking about a couple slides back? Y'all remember the lens? It was in the front of the eye. Okay, so it becomes cloudy, and once it becomes cloudy, it's like looking through a shower door. That's after you've showered, of course. And so that's how come every image looks like this. This being normal, this being what it looks like, okay? So the person can still see, but it's just that it's so cloudy that in the dim light, it might be difficult. What do y'all know about the lighting downstairs in the museum at certain exhibits? It's very dim for the ambiance, for the look, for what they're trying to create. So keep in mind that this might be a bit of a problem for someone with cataract, okay? Glaucoma. Glaucoma is what I have. And what glaucoma does is that it reduces your visual field. Now I'm throwing a big word at you, I'm sure, and a big phrase. So rather than let y'all guess what I mean and just move on, I'm not going to do that. I want y'all to get up. Get on up. I feel like James Brown. Get on up. Okay, now take your arms, and what I want you to do is I want you to put your arms out to the side of you. Please don't knock out your neighbor. Okay? Now what I want you to do is look forward, and I want you to keep your eyes forward. You guys got that part? That's important. Okay, and then I would like you to slowly bring your hands in towards you, and once you're able to see them, stop. Tell me when you're able to see them. Are y'all all stopped? Okay. Okay, so your visual, that's your visual field. So anything, a tree, a pole, a leaf, a person that comes within that field, anything on the inside of those arms, you'll be able to catch, you'll be able to notice, and you'll be able to see. Therefore, if a chair is left out, you'll be able to catch it even if you're not looking directly at it and that type of thing. I bet your arms are tired. Go on, put them down. Okay, have a seat. Person with glaucoma, that's what you got right now. Yours is your visual field. Y'all all probably have really good visual fields. A person with glaucoma has a decreased visual field. My visual field is about here. Therefore, anything that happened over here or over here didn't happen as far as I knew about it. Okay? So that means that if you walk up to a patron with glaucoma who happens to have my visual field, they won't know you exist until you come into this area. So while you're coming up talking, hey, so-and-so and so-and-so, you don't exist. Or if we're walking up to an exhibit and there's a, I don't know, a dugout. You guys have them in good places right now, but what if there was a dugout in the center and the person didn't see it and they're walking this way, but their visual field is right here. So they're not going to see it if it's low and in the middle, or if a box is in the middle, or if a chair is in the middle. So keep in mind that visual fields are important when it comes to seeing. Okay? Did I have a... Okay. Oh, I believe I don't see anything there. Oh, there I do. Okay, wonderful. Well, so diabetic retinopathy. Diabetic retinopathy is one... Has anyone ever heard of that? Okay, anybody with diabetes, sometimes if the diabetes becomes uncontrolled, the diabetic retinopathy then develops. And that's, remember that red line on the inside of the eye that I was pointing out, called the retina? Some pieces of it get damaged. And so if it gets damaged, then remember I showed you how that image comes into the eye. Well, if it lands on a damaged spot and that piece isn't working, then nothing is there. You get it? So if it lands on a good spot, it gets a picture. If the image comes in and lands on a bad spot of the retina, there's nothing there. Okay? So then their vision is sort of broken up like this. And so compared to the very normal, and it causes them not to see things that are in the middle. Okay? So be mindful of that. Retinitis pigmentosa does something similar to what glaucoma does, in that it starts to eat away at your visual field till it's just a pinhole, and then once a pinhole, it shrinks completely, and then they're totally blind. So all of the things, if a chair is left out, if a backpack is out, all that doesn't get seen, just that stuff that's in the very center. Okay? So the reason why I say that is because when you're moving things around out there in your office area or in the museum, but when I say office area, if you guys are out in where the public sees you, keep in mind that there might be people who cannot see these other areas, and just keep things where they're supposed to be. Here's another thing. When I describe this, I have to describe it saying you don't see it. And so generally we put black around. It doesn't look black to us who have the visual field loss. It doesn't look black. It just is non-existent. So the person may not have the slightest idea that they are not seeing something. So what happens with me is the person comes up and then all of a sudden they're there. Pow! It's like Bewitched, like the television show a long time. Just went, you know, Esmeralda, and she's right there. It's just like they show up out of nowhere. So it isn't that they're suddenly cautious because they go, oh, I'm not going to see this, I'm not going to see that. That just never existed. So it's not black to us. It's just not there. Case in point. Here's somebody with a visual field loss, and they're missing this little area of their vision. If this is the eye of and it's looking out this way, that area of the retina is not happy. And this is what they're seeing. You've got your ball, you got the children, you got the red car, you've got all the things in the city. Person who's got this area missing and not seeing, well, what happened to the children? What happened to the car? Your body, your eyes, brain scans the area and fills in what it thinks should be there. Therefore, there's no black spot in the picture, and they have no idea that they're not seeing something. So if this person was driving, those children would be in trouble. If this person was walking through your museum downstairs, they'd be in trouble because they don't know that they don't know that they're missing something. It fills in the picture, understand? And here's another example altogether. We've lost the children, the cars, and some of this stuff over here. So they might not realize it. And I say that also to say that a lot of these gradual field loss, you notice how it says gradual field loss? This stuff is gradual. So last September, they might have been able to see all that over there. Yet today, they don't see much more than the places that are missing. So what is that going to do to somebody emotionally? It's going to kind of eat them up because it's continuing and it's changing. You know how if you have something go wrong and you work through it and you go through your loss and you deal with it and you're there and you've dealt with it and it's there. With vision loss, you deal with it and it's there and then it changes and gets worse. So now you got to go through that whole grieving process again. You deal with it and it's there and then it's less again. So if someone walks up to you while you're in the middle of maybe a third, fourth grieving process and says, so that's not a guide dog, show me what's wrong with your disability. Let me see, do you really have a disability? You've got to realize that you're dealing with people. Yes, there's a law, but you're dealing with people who are going through visual loss if they haven't lost it completely already. Do you see? So you just got to have some kindness to it. Okay? All righty. I believe we have a 9-minute video of a gentleman who has lost his vision, and it's gradual, and he's just coming to sort of...
Okay, we're going to start now. Here we go.
Okay.